I'd like you to think about the last time that you used your credit card. Could have been today. I was probably traveling over here. 99% of the time, we don't even think about the processes or parties involved in using our credit cards, right? I surely don't. The only time I think about my credit card is when I get that dreaded, it didn't go through. Or maybe it takes a fraction of a millisecond longer to approve than it usually does, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what's wrong? One of those parties that's involved, probably in tons of the transactions that we process every day, is Worldpay. Worldpay is a leading global payments processor that operates and helps customers to take, manage, and protect their payments. We operate across 190 different markets and 135 currencies. Our customers are those of all sizes, from the small mom and pop shop that sells a single product to enterprise clients of all sizes. We really offer end-to-end payment experiences that drive growth, efficiency, and security. Worldpay has a great partnership with all parties in the space, so that includes your card networks, your financial institutions, your issuing banks, the software people that write solutions for credit card payments, and then the sales organizations that resell them. And we like to say that we leverage all those relationships to advance the way that the world pays.
As Marcus alluded to, we're not just there for the taking of the credit card payments. We want to support our customers the entire part of the journey. So we help them to accept all of their ways of payment, protect those transactions as they come through, optimize how they are taking payments, embed it into their solutions natively, and help them to move the money. We help keep everything going, and we try to provide first-in-class service for everything.
So enough about payments, Megan. This isn't a payments conference. We're here for knowledge, right?
This is true. Totally unplanned segue. Thank you very much for that. This is Marcus Tucson. He is our Service Cloud project and program owner for Worldpay. Marcus not only drives the strategy behind our servicing, he also works to make sure that our agents who are on the phones and in the back offices have everything they need to provide that first-in-class service.
And Megan Taylor, she's our rockstar program owner for Knowledge 365. That's what we call our internal knowledge program. What makes Megan so great is not that she knows everything as a knowledge owner, but really because she lives our company values. In order to really be great, we have to think like a customer. We have to ask the right questions. We have to stay agile so that we can act like an owner and make the decisions that we need to make when we need to make them. And then we have to stay open to feedback from other teams, other departments, other ways of doing things, because we win and we fail as one team. And we're not just all talk at Worldpay. These are some of the top honors that we received this year at the Stevie Awards, the American Business Awards, Support Department of the Year, Support Team of the Year, and Best Technical Support Strategy and Implementation.
So fun fact, Marcus and I started on the same day 13 years ago. And 13 years ago, this was our knowledge management solution. It was a printed Excel spreadsheet that was color-coded with all of the call transfer guides, and you had to have it at your desk for every call that came in.
You can't really see it, and that's okay. We don't want you to. But we found that we were printing this out so often as things changed. And so our training manager, what she'd end up doing is she would email us, and we had to hand scribble notes in there because her policy was, I'm now only going to reprint this if we have 3 significant changes. So think about what that's like as an on-the-phones advisor. Maybe I came in, I didn't have time to read that email for the change. Maybe I can't read my handwriting later, or maybe I just didn't get that update. And so now I'm following an incorrect process.
So throughout our 13 years, we started on the phones, we've worked in equipment deployment, people leading, we have been implementation managers, and sometimes Marcus and I have been the ones after hours plugging in the phones and the computers from the latest integration. What we've learned through all of that is it is impossible to provide first-in-class service if you do not have that knowledge at your fingertips ready to go. So this is where we started before we partnered with eGain. We had multiple tools. We are a product of acquisitions and mergers. Every time it brings their own solutions through. So we had over 20 repositories of knowledge management. We had over 9 CRMs, conflicting information, duplicated information, multiple places to update. We also had silos. Our servicing strategy and our knowledge strategies were not aligned. Learning and development was different, and every group did things their own way. Every time a vertical changed, we had updates that had to be made. Every type of customer asks the questions differently, what they need, how they refer to the terms. We also had a heavy risk of loss of information from OneNotes, SharePoints, printed documents, as well as a lot that lived exclusively in a tenured employee's head, and if they left the business, it was gone. So our partnership with eGain started before my tenure and Marcus's tenure with our current roles. It started in 2019, and it was really used for one technical support team on the phones. At that point, everything was custom. We had custom templates, a custom Salesforce integration, worked really well for that team. About 4 years ago, we stepped into our roles and realized we could not take a custom solution for one team and make it part of our global enterprise. So we worked quickly with eGain to revert everything to out-of-the-box. We moved to their out-of-the-box templates. In January of last year, we moved to the out-of-the-box Salesforce integration. And we were able to bring truly a single source of truth to our programs. Once we were on the out-of-the-box solutions, we were able to consolidate. We delivered a consolidated knowledge base combining 3 teams for our US customer care teams 3 quarters ahead of our scheduled delivery point. We have also continued to accelerate our agenda using the AI solutions, and again, keeping everything out of the box, able to update rapidly and really grow with our business.
So where we are today, consolidation. I mean, that was obviously something that we had to do. Earlier, we showed you a slide. One of our Worldpay values is to think like a customer. And so our customers, in a lot of cases, are the contact center advisors. So let's walk through that exercise together. We're going to think like a customer here. I'm a contact center advisor. We're a product of acquisitions. Megan brought that up. We had 20 different knowledge repositories, 9 CRMs. Every time we acquire, we have a different customer type, different processes for maybe the same, different steps for the same process. I don't know what call I'm going to get. So I get the phone call. I'm stressing out. I'm not really thinking about engaging and delighting that customer because I'm wondering, what CRM am I going to have to look up their account information in? What knowledge base am I going to have to go to? How am I going to solve this? What team, where am I going to get this call to? And so we identified that we really had to consolidate those down. And of course, we've consolidated those 9 CRMs into one strategic tool, that being Salesforce, and those 20 knowledge repositories down into a single tool, being eGain. And now we're supporting 30 internal teams in our Knowledge 365 program with 4 merchant or customer-facing portals that they can self-service off of.
And in addition to the consolidation, we then had the issue of how do we want to drive this as a business? What do we want knowledge to do for us? And that came down to we need to get these answers quickly and they need to be accurate. We need to stop the multiple clicks trying to go to several resources to get the information, so we implemented the generative AI solution. We used eGain's innovation in 30 days to launch instant answers. We launched it for all of our internal teams. We have had agile updates with the large language models, and we've continued to use the portal-by-portal refinement of generative and semantic results on the back end. We also, at the same time, launched the Assist GPT functionality for our authors. So where we originally would take months to over 2 quarters to launch a new team, we were able to do it in weeks by taking these standard operating procedures that are sometimes hundreds of pages of PDFs and bringing them into an author content. The other side of that coin is that stagnant equals death in knowledge management. What is accurate today can be out of date tomorrow, and we had to make sure that we weren't falling into that trap. So we designed a control self-assessment testing plan with eGain. We have 8,000 articles. We have 2,000 users to date. Every one of those articles has an assigned review owner and a revolving review cycle. They can be reviewed every 6 months, 12 months, or 2 years, depending on how often we believe that information is going to change. At 30 days, the user gets an email telling them all of these items on this spreadsheet are due for review in 30 days, and it automatically moves via the workflows into their My Work queue on the authoring console. They don't have to go hunt it down. They know exactly where it is. We also built in on-demand reporting, so we have the ability to look at the status of every single piece of content at any given time and see where we are and where we are for relevancy in this accuracy. So we have come a long way, In 2019, we serviced a few hundred customers, a few hundred contact center agents. Year to date, we have had 208,000 active sessions from our internal users. Those internal users have viewed 1.2 million articles. They have submitted 7,000 ratings. Our target rating internally is 80%. Year to date, we are averaging 82%. We've had 2,500 suggestions submitted. We're not quite at the 90+%, but we've had 76% of those accepted and worked into new or updated articles. And externally, we have had 1 million article views and 200,000 self-service sessions.
So we know that we're not done. We talked a little bit about our Salesforce connector. Just because we went to a new out-of-the-box template, it's really difficult to change agent behavior. I can't give them something brand new and just expect them to start using it and to adopt it. So we have a lot of work there to do with our Salesforce connector. We like to say that we want to truly get that connector to a point where we're pushing the content to the advisor versus having them have to go and interact with it and pull it back. Sometimes you don't know that you need knowledge when you actually need that knowledge.
We also want to expand our use of AI. We're looking strongly at the bring your own model, tying it into other tools, pulling not only from our knowledge bases, but from Salesforce, our ACD systems, getting that full picture for our advisors, as well as expanding our guided flows. We have a handful of guided flows we went live with that were not adopted the way we would like. So what we did with eGain this year is we partnered to create a really robust guided flow using their new functionality of weighting the answers. And we've taken what our users were navigating on a spreadsheet of over 100 rows where they would select the filters themselves, had over 500 different answer combinations in the background, and we've consolidated it to a guided flow of 6 questions where we do all that answers in the back for them, and they can refine their answers at the end, make sure we're getting them to the solution they need. We're going to continue to expand. We started with our focus on our contact centers and in operations, and what we have found is that to truly give that first-in-class service and really commit to our values, we need to support everything from day 1 to day 100, from sales to servicing. So we're expanding to our sales teams and continuing to look for other groups and teams to bring in and continue with our efficiencies.
And that aligns really nicely with our ultimate goal. What we want is that anybody can service one of our customers. It doesn't matter where you sit in the world. It doesn't matter what you technically do as a day job. It doesn't matter what line of business you sit in. Anybody can support a customer from any region, anywhere in the world.